Hi friends, this is Nishant and I welcome you all to this wonderful drive time video, though I'm not driving today. And this is something that I committed just a couple of days back. Even in the Facebook group, I said that I'm going to do a video on Sunday. So here I am. And I just say it here that this format, drive time format, is my favorite format personally. Though I'm not driving today, but even when I'm driving, many people say it's unsafe, it's not safe, but I don't believe that, because when we drive, we all listen to songs, we sing songs, we talk to people who are sitting in the car with us. So when I do a drive time, I feel like you are sitting in the car. I'm not conscious of the camera, of course. So point is that personally I like this medium the most because this makes me feel like we are traveling together, right? So today, I've made this setup that I don't have to drive, so I can talk, very peacefully with you. And the topic that I've chosen, as I mentioned in the Facebook post itself, is big loss. And I'm going to dissect this. Now, though it's a drive time, obviously, it's going to be a very spontaneous talk and very candid, talk, but a very comprehensive one. All right. It's not something that I'm never in a hurry. You can check any video out. I always make sure that I tell you everything that can be, told about that topic. So I'm going to talk about big loss, the physiology. Yes, you heard it right. Physiology, the biology, and the psychology of it. Everything. I'm going to dissect it left, right, and center. All right. So let's begin our drive and let's talk about this topic. When I say a big loss, many people don't talk about this phenomena called big loss, and the reason is that they want to escape from it because it brings pain. But I believe in handling the issues head on. If you are diagnosed with a disease, a fatal disease, does it make sense that you close your eyes? No. What makes sense is that you read more about it. You understand more about the disease. So big loss is something like that. We should not be afraid of it. We should not be that pigeon who closes its eyes because a cat is in front of it, him. So we're going to talk about big loss. Now, before I delve into the topic, I'd like to make a couple of things clear. And first of those two things is, I'm not talking about beginners here, okay? So I'm not talking about those who have just started to trade, lack of knowledge, and due to lack of knowledge, they lose big. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone who has knowledge, rather abundance of knowledge, okay? And still he loses big, maybe in one trade. I'm talking about that. So one thing is clear, I'm not talking about a beginner. I'm not talking about lack of knowledge perspective, okay? That is one. Second is, I'm not talking about a generic loss, because losses are part of this business. And I've talked about this in a public talk, in a YouTube talk. I'd rather post the link above. I've talked about this, that, trading is one of its kind business. In this business, losses are part of the whole game. And, you can have a loss every day. But if losses are managed well, then they become cost, not losses. See, in any other business, let's say you have a shoe store, a shoe selling retail shop. You have a business. Even if you are in loss on net basis overall, you would see that the loss would come from rent or finance costs. But on transaction to transaction basis, like, you buy a shoe and you sell a shoe, on transaction to transaction basis, you are never on loss. You're never in loss. So, when we do a business, we are never in loss on transaction to transaction basis. But in trading, it's different. In trading, we can definitely have transaction to transaction basis loss. Any trade can go wrong. If you have a stop loss and the stop loss gets hit, it's a transaction loss, right? You made a transaction and it's in loss. That is why people try to avoid that loss by doing more analysis and all. That's not the solution. You have to be very accommodative of the fact that losses are part of the business. This business. In this business, transaction to transaction loss is not just a possibility, it's a regular feature. It's an attribute of this business, right? So I'm not talking about that generic small loss that your stop loss gets hit or regular loss, generic loss. No. I'm talking about big loss. Okay. So two things I have cleared here. One, I'm not talking about beginners. Two, I'm not talking about small losses, generic losses. I'm talking about something called a big loss. When we talk about big loss, many times it feels like, a big loss cannot happen to somebody who knows a lot, who has been trading for a while, who has experience. Well, it's not correct. It can happen. No, can is not the word. It will happen to everybody who trades. Let me put it very bluntly. If it hasn't happened to you yet, mark my words, a big loss is just round the corner. Saying or thinking that a big loss cannot happen to me or him or is akin to saying that somebody who is into motorcycle racing will never get into an accident. If you are a motorcycle racer, if you are a bike racer in racing sports, I'm not talking about recreational biking, I'm talking about professional racing. You are bound to get into an accident sometime or the other. Now, obviously, sometimes, you will be spared with a minor scratch. At other times, it will be a minor fracture. Sometimes it can be a big injury. It happens, right? You have to accept that. In fact, another talk I'm recalling, I did a video on YouTube, and it was about fear of loss. I'll post the link above again. And so fear of loss, So having said that, let's accept that big loss can happen. Not can, will happen. So when we have something, which will happen, now or sometime, some other time, doesn't it make sense that we know more about it? We know about all the aspects of it, right? That's why I'm making this video right now. As I said in the beginning, the physiology, the biology, and the psychology of big loss. Before I talk any further, I would like to, suggest something. Your trading career, if you have been trading for some time, as I said, I'm not talking about a beginner. If you know how to trade, if you are a trader, obviously you would like to see your trading performance, your trading career as an uptrend, right? As an uptrend. So I would like you to think about your trading career as an uptrend. In an uptrend, what is an uptrend? An uptrend is a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? So you go up, you come down, you go up, you come down, you go up, you come down. Higher highs and higher lows. Obviously you come down. You never go up in a straight line in an uptrend. You come down. This is an uptrend, okay? Now where does the big loss fit into this whole scheme of things? A big loss is like a shock. Many times you have seen that, in an uptrend, you are going up and you are coming down. That coming down is via small candles, a normal, generic, regular correction. That is fine, right? That is making a higher low. But many times you must have seen, even in the charts, when you see a chart, when you analyze a stock, that something is going up in an uptrend, and then suddenly you have a big red candle on the counter side, right? A big candle. It's not a small, generic, small correction. No. A big, high volume candle on the downside. That is akin to the big loss, a shock to the uptrend. That's why I said that I would like you to think about your trading career, your trading performance as an uptrend. Okay, so a big loss is a shock, is a momentum shock to the system. Now, what is the feature? What is the biggest attribute of a shock in an uptrend? The biggest attribute is that a shock to the system in an uptrend has the potential of reversing the trend. I'd emphasize my words, potential of reversing a trend. So let's say you are in an uptrend and a big red candle comes. It doesn't necessarily mean that trend will reverse, but the probability of it happening increases. Many times it happens that you are in an uptrend, making a higher high, higher low, and then a shock comes on the downside, and then you make a lower high and you fall. Reversal happens, right? So that is something that you have to prevent. Now I'm talking about your trading performance, your trading career. That your trading career was going up, right? Making higher highs and higher lows. And now you have a big loss, which is a shock on the downside. Your first priority should be that now, it shouldn't reverse your uptrend, right? This is very important, otherwise you lose your rationality. You have to see your trading performance as a whole, as an uptrend, and you have to ensure that this big loss ends up just as a corrective and not as a reversal. Now, what are the ways to do that? Well, one way is that you take a break. Taking a break definitely helps. See, the thing is that when you take a break, it doesn't matter how knowledgeable you are, how experienced you are. When a big loss happens, your psychology goes for a toss, at least for some moments. It's always good to take a break. Now, it is very subjective. Some people can be okay with an hour break, with a couple of hours break. Some people would need a couple of days break. Some people would need maybe a week's break, right? But a break would always help. A break would break the circuit of negative thinking. All right. Second thing is, reduce your position size. Whenever it happens, whenever a big loss happens, reduce your position size. Now I'll tell you something. When a big loss happens, logically it says that now you are not in the same mental state. So you should reduce your position size. Right? That's logic. I would break something to you. When a big loss happens, majority of people increase their position size. Now when you are listening to this video, you might be thinking, what? But actually it's a fact. You know why they increase? Because they want to make it back as soon as possible. And to make it back as soon as... See, a big loss in itself means that this is something out of ordinary. It's not an ordinary loss, so it's a big loss. Might have happened because you took a big position, right? In search of big profits. That is why when you want to recover it, you put more positions than you usually do. And a reversal happens. your uptrend of trading performances reverses into a downtrend. So first thing, always take a break. Second thing, reduce your size. Right? These two are the most important things you must do immediately. Talking about the physiology, though I've talked about this in a video called The Body Language of Trading. Again, I'll put the link above. When a big loss happens, immediately become aware of your own thoughts, your own body. 99% of times when a big loss happens, you would be like this, on your toes. Your toes will be on the ground rather than your feet. Your toes will be on the ground. That is basically what? It is your physiology has changed. It is telling you that you are in a flight or fight, mechanism. Panic, anxiety. Your shoulders will be like this. You are contracted. Your heart will be beating faster. So you have to break that physiology as well. Right? And in order to break that physiology, you have to first understand that why this physiology happens. This physiology happens because of the biology. Okay? Let me talk about it. A human being, I've talked about this in a video called What's Your AV? Again, see, I've talked about many things, right? This tells you that in this YouTube channel, you will find a lot of gems, a lot of great material. See this impatient guy? These people, they live like this. I don't know how their family lives with them. But anyway, so I was saying that your physiology, when you have a big loss. All right, so let me summarize a bit. So we have talked about that one, big loss will happen. 2, when a big loss happens, take a break and think of your trading performance as an equity curve. And a big loss is like a shock. Don't let it become a reversal. Rather, make sure that it ends as a corrective and you again get back into the impulse. So take a break, reduce your position size. Second thing is, check your physiology, your body language. third thing I was talking about is the biology. See, a human being is driven by thoughts. When you think something, a thought becomes an emotion, right? So from thoughts, you develop an emotion. Emotions will release certain hormones. Those hormones will basically decide what you do and how you feel. Life is what? Life is nothing but what you feel, right? Two people can be in the same place, same situation. One might be happy, one might be sad. So it's about the AV, the audio visual that goes inside the head. Anyway, I won't talk much about it because I've talked in the video, and as I said, the link is given. So point is that you have to check that AV. What happens is when there is some danger, there are hormones. I mean, we are all slaves of our nervous system, right? And we don't have to be. We can change that. But by default, we are all slaves of our nervous system. Hormones. When we are making profits, we are dopamine is happening, serotonin is happening. We are feeling happy because dopamine is a hormone which makes us feel good when we achieve something, when we achieve a goal. It is addictive. If there was no dopamine, I'm saying it very clearly and loudly, if there was no dopamine, there would be no corporate culture. The entire corporate culture is built on the carrot and stick approach. That a man is a donkey and you put a carrot in front of him and he achieves more and you give him more reward. More and more performance, more reward. So this whole review and appraisal system is basically based on your dopamine weakness, if I may say so. That since you are a dopamine addict, that is exploited via this review and appraisal approach. So when you are trading, when you are making money, you are having a dopamine shot, you are feeling good about it. Serotonin, you are feeling good about it. Serotonin is basically an achievement, you're happy about it. You have achieved something, recognition. So you're feeling good. When a big loss happens, now what happens in biology terms is like a child whose toy is taken away from him. You getting my point? Somebody's happiness is snatched from him. When you do that, suddenly the whole hormonal system changes. Now instead of dopamine, instead of serotonin, even endorphins, rather cortisol and adrenaline, they start dominating the picture. Your hypothalamus, I won't go deep into that, but your hypothalamus releases something called corticotropin release hormone, CRH, which goes into your pituitary glands. Your pituitary releases some ACTH, which is adrenocorticotropin hormones. They go into your adrenaline. Adrenaline glands are just above our kidneys. Adrenaline glands release cortisol as well as adrenaline, right? And your entire being, your entire personality, nervous system, it gets into fight or flight. You are like revenge mode. That you have to do it now or never, double or quits. You're getting the point? Those gamblers who lose it all, double or quits, they are suffering from adrenaline. So this is happening because your biology has changed. Your biology has changed because your thoughts have changed, because you have got an emotional hit. So you have to understand all of that, and please understand, this awareness is everything. Now I'm telling you this, now next time it happens, at least you know what's happening inside you. And when you know that, you can change it, right? How? Take a break. As simple as that, right? See, in our primitive brain, it was conditioned to have that fight or flight response. Fight or flight response is, let's say, an ancient human being, an ancient Homo sapien who used to live in a forest, gets face to face with a lion. Suddenly, adrenaline releases and cortisol releases, and he gets into fight or flight. The blood circulation fastens, the heartbeat fastens up, heart palpitations are faster, all that. And suddenly the blood flow is more into the extremities, hands and legs. Why? Either to fight or to run. That is why it is called fight or flight. And the blood, since the blood flow is more into extremities, it is compensated. The blood flow to other parts of the system, which is like your digestive system, your rationality, everything, they all take a backseat, because when you are face to face with the lion, digestion of food is not the priority, right? So this is what happens when you are in anxiety, when you are in panic. A big loss happens. Hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenaline, cortisol, stress hormone. You are suddenly in stress, revenge mode. You want to make it back. But you know, this is not the issue. You want to make it back is not the issue. The issue is you want to make it back now. When this thought comes in that you want to make it back now that big loss translates into bigger loss. Rings any bell? That's why, you know, I'll tell you something. Let's say you are a trader, a day trader, and on an average you trade 3 trades, 5 trades a day. You would find, and I'm saying it with experience, you would agree with me here 100%. You are a trader and you trade 3-5 trades in a day. On the days when you are highly profitable, your number of trades would be 3, 4, 5, 6. On the days when your loss is huge, the number of trades will be 15, 20, 25. Why? Because of this fight or flight response. Because you want to make it back now. Revenge mode, recovery mode, you know, all of that comes up. So this biology changes. Your biology, who you are, changes at the core. That is why how you behave changes. Right? Now understand what you are fighting against here in this business. You are fighting against bloody yourself. It's clearly you versus you. You are fighting against yourself. And I am equipping you to fight against yourself, your own self, and win. So when you have a big loss, take a break, okay? Drink water. Even if it means taking a couple of days off, take it. Reduce your size. And you know, what I would suggest is, try to get out of recovery mode or revenge mode. You know, try to make it back. Take the current situation as fresh situation. So with this, I'm coming to the third point. So the first point I made was that take it like an uptrend. You know, you are in an uptrend. Big loss happens. That is like a shock, correction. Do not let it become a reversal. Okay, consolidate there. Consolidate. Small profits, many days. Consolidate, and then start going up. That is one. Number 2, check your physiology, you know, and biology, because your physiology is due to your biology. So know that you are not the same person. When you have a big loss, you are not the same person. So don't be in a hurry, because the person who is taking decisions now is not the person who was taking decision before the big loss. Okay, that is one. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is regroup. You know, create a new base, a fresh base. It's all about mindset. Trust me, it's all about mindset. I'll tell you a few things here about mindset. You know, many times it happens is that even when you make a profit, your day ends in a profit, still you feel bad. Let's say you made 40,000, 50,000 in a day, and some loss happens, 10,000. Now since you anchored your happiness to 50,000 because you made 50,000, now you are at 40,000. Day ends, you are not happy. Why? Because you lost 10,000. You forget that you made 40,000. Your emphasis is upon that you lost 10,000. So please understand, it's all here. You know, nothing is actually true. What you feel is true. What you feel is the truth. So big loss happens, consolidate there, bring yourself together. Okay? If your capital has exhausted, I mean, it can be a possibility, save again. Save again. Now, what I'm trying to say here is, when I say regroup, see, let me give an example here. Let's say you started your trading journey with 5 lakhs, okay? And with good trading, uptrend, you took it to some 10 lakhs. There would be a period, anyway. So you started with 5 lakhs and you reached 10 lakhs. After reaching 10 lakhs, a big loss happened. 2 lakhs. Now you are at 8 lakhs, okay? When you were going from 5 to 10, didn't you go through 8 lakhs? Yeah? You reached 8 lakhs once, isn't it? So when you were at 5 and you were making good progress, there was a point that you reached 8 lakhs. When you reached 8 lakhs from 5 lakhs, were you happy or not? Were you happy or not? You were very happy. You were feeling accomplished. Serotonin. Hormones, it's all hormones. Serotonin, neurotransmitters. You were feeling very happy. Dopamine was at a high. You were feeling goal accomplished. I have converted my 5 lakhs into 8 lakhs. Right? Same 8 lakhs, you were happy. Now you reached 10 lakhs and you had a big loss and you were back to 8 lakhs. Why aren't you happy again? 8 lakhs is 8 lakhs, right? Getting my point? 8 lakhs is 8 lakhs. You were at 8 lakhs a week before. Now you are at 10 lakhs. And now you had a big loss. You are back at 8 lakhs. And now you are feeling like it's end of the world. You are behaving like everything has collapsed. See, that's why I'm saying you lose the rationality. You lose the whole picture that, man, I was at 8 lakhs just a week ago and I was happy, super happy. Now I'm at 8 lakhs and I'm super sad. That is why it is said that it's never about the outside situations. It's always about inside. 8 lakhs is 8 lakhs. But since in the first instance you reached there from 5, so you were happy. In the second instance you reached there from 10, you were sad. So it's all a mind's play, you know. I mean, 8 lakhs is 8 lakhs, right? It's all a mind's play. So don't be too affected with that. That's what I'm saying. So this is what I mean, regroup, rebase. You know, when you are fighting a war, sometimes retreat happens. You have to step back. But then you have to regroup. Again, reassess your situations and start fresh. Start fresh. A trader, you know, as I said, a trader has to live in his own mind. He has to fight with himself every other day. Right? And the only weapon that he has is awareness. So regroup. So whatever, you know, big loss happened. Now whatever capital you have, don't think of it, okay, maybe be sad for a day. Okay. Have a drink or two. But don't be a Devdas more than, you know, one day. Because if you do that, then, you know, that becomes your temperament. If you carry on the same thoughts for many days, it becomes your temperament. If you carry on the same mood, you know, for many weeks or months, then it becomes your nature. So you don't do that. Okay? Something bad happens, you feel bad about it. Okay? I'm giving you the luxury of feeling bad, of being sad for a few hours. But after that, you have to say, screw it. I'm back. Right? So whatever capital now you are left with after big loss, now you don't think that, you know, a loss has happened. No. You take that capital as the fresh capital that you are starting out with. This is just a perspective that you are starting out with, you know, with this capital. So regroup, reassess, restart. Do not take further trading as a recovery or as a revenge. You don't have to reach back from where you had the big loss. No. Don't think about it, you know, in that perspective. You don't have to reach back there. It's a fresh game. Market doesn't know where you were, right? Market doesn't owe you that market should give you that money that you lost. Forget about it. Because if you will remember that, if you will carry the baggage of your big loss, let's say you had a 1 lakh rupees loss and now you make 5,000. You know, the next trade you make 5,000. You will feel bad. Oh, it's nothing, 5,000, just 5,000. I lost 1 lakh. Whereas that 5,000 can be a wonderful trade. You know, that you entered wonderfully, exited wonderfully. But you will feel bad. Why? Because you are comparing it with 1 lakh. So don't do that. Because, you know, if you will carry that baggage, many other psychological biases will come in. So start fresh. Forget that what happened. And just again start your uptrend. So this is the whole thing. Let me summarize again, conclude it. Big loss can happen to everybody. If it hasn't happened yet, it will. So prepare for it. When it happens, think of it, uptrend. It's a shock. Consolidate there. Don't do anything stupid. Don't let it become the reversal. Take a break, reduce your size. Check your physiology. Okay? Your physiology has changed because of your biology, adrenaline, cortisol, right? So be relaxed. If thoughts of panic could change your biology for bad, thoughts of happiness or calmness can change your biology for good. So do that, okay? And lastly, I talked about regroup. Wherever you are now, start fresh. Don't carry the memories of the past, okay? So I hope you enjoyed the talk, and that's that. I enjoyed it a lot. All right. So if you enjoyed it, do like, do subscribe, and do share. Though I don't say these things, but I think I have to. I think I have to, because these good things must reach as many people as possible. All right. So best wishes to you. Thank you. Bye bye.